Something Solomon said just it touched me. Judge, it was right here. Oh, that was really cheesy. Don't put that at the beginning. Please don't put that. Anyway,
now you told him.
It's definitely going.
You never tell someone don't do it.
Oh God, that's the end of me. Anyway, when he mentioned that even it's soloing.
We aim each week to bring some topics and opinions on the world of MMOs, since we are fans and players of them. So first off, we're going to start some daily quests. We're going to lead you off with some easy stuff. Quake Con is going on right now. It is happening online. Go to Quake Con. Nothing really new has been talked about. There is obviously for us, ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 76 on the plate, but there's been nothing new to report. And yes, they're playing it, they're showing it, and they're talking about it, and people, of course, are like, "Really, Fallout 76?" And they're so touting how much they're putting into it, all the more they're putting into it, the great content they have, which is fine. That's fine, but nothing really new. No Elder Scrolls 6 mention at all that I've heard. Unless they're going to do that, wait till the last minute of the closing ceremony.
Probably.
Crowfall, the beta will officially open on August 11th. So all those people who kickstarted into the beta or have beta access will now get to play it August 11th. My level of Kickstarter actually got me earlier into it, but I've not really played it because I'm tired. I don't want to play or help them out. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. All right, now New World, their density test wrapped up, and apparently the community was very happy with what they saw. That was according to a report from MMORPG.com. So August 25th is when, if you did pre-order before July 9th and you're in the alpha, you get to have this, we think, 1 week of play. So we're going to be playing some New World on August 25th. So if you haven't got the pack yet, sorry, you have to wait till next year.
Sorry.
All right.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while. Yeah. There wasn't very much many daily quests this week that I saw that I really want to talk about. So I'm going to pass it on to the delivery quest, where we're going to have some deliveries from Jaziel and from Solomon. For we'll start with, we got a cheer from Jaziel. What happened to, just cheery. Okay. Wait, why didn't it go off? I don't have it. I don't have my alert set off to go here.
Whoop.
So,
I guess you guys
yeah.
Start all over again right from the top. Play the intro.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. So, Jaziel, what delivery quest do you have for us?
All right. Well, mainly just had two things I wanted to mention. One of them happened today, and one of them was almost, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I heard about it. But most people, I would think, that watch our show know about Reckful and his passing earlier this year. And most people in our circles, for some odd reason, didn't really watch him as much. But he used to be a huge, very popular, not quite as much as Asmongold, but he was up there for World of Warcraft, and he got banned a couple times, and he was actually still technically banned at the time of his passing. However, they did recognize him, and they've put him, let me read over my notes real quick so I don't mess it up, because earlier I was telling someone about it and I messed up what he was in the game. But they've put an NPC named Reckful in the Shadowlands expansion in the Cathedral of Light. He's a rogue trainer, which that's kind of interesting, because World of Warcraft hasn't been using the class trainers for a long time now. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that again, or if it was just they thought, hey, that seems like an appropriate thing to do for him. He was a pretty excellent PvP rogue. So that's a nice touch. I appreciate that. I'm sure other fans and family of his appreciate it as well. There were some naysayers. I'm not even going to give them the time of day, because the things they were saying were just absolutely ugly and disgusting. Yeah. But the next thing was something that happened this morning. I woke up and saw in my box that there is a YouTuber by the name of Hurricane. He actually worked for Blizzard for a short time. They hired him because of his work doing like HD versions of World of Warcraft cinematics and whatnot, and kind of updating them, making them a lot cooler. They had hired him at one point. I don't know if he's still working for them now, but anyway, this morning in my box, hey, go watch this. He just put something new out. There was a Black Temple trailer. 2020 is what the name of the video is. It's on YouTube. His name is Hurricane, and if you're a World of Warcraft fan, especially a classic. Well, I mean, of course, Black Temple is not classic. It's Burning Crusade, but that classic era of the first three versions of the game is what I meant by that. Don't chew my head off. It is like about 3.5 minutes, I believe, and it is awesome. So I highly recommend, even if you aren't a World of Warcraft fan, you should go check this out. He did some awesome work, and I hope he does still work for Blizzard, because they need someone like that, although their cinematics are always pretty top notch already. But this if you like World of Warcraft cinematics, this is another level. This is really sweet. So definitely go check that out. That's all I have for this week.
I think that, I mean, I know that they put a Robin Williams character in somewhere in World of Warcraft because he's a WoW player. There have been some other times when Blizzard has tipped their hat off to people, and that's kind of cool to do that. I know that.
They, sorry. The thing is that they always put something in there that alludes to what their impact was on the devs or whoever, storyline directors or whoever it is that wanted to put that character into the game. With the Robin Williams character that they did, they had a little eggshell, which I know most of you are not Kenneth and my generations, so maybe you didn't watch it, but he was in a show back in the late 70s, early 80s called Mork and Mindy, and he actually arrived on Earth. He was an alien that arrived on Earth in an egg-shaped spaceship.
That's right.
So they had a little cracked egg there beside him and a little genie lamp, and he actually came out as a genie. If you rubbed on the lamp, he would pop out, the NPC would, and he would make some lines that Robin Williams had said in some of his movies. So it was really neat. And like I said, they did the same thing with Reckful. He was a very well-known PvP rogue. So it's awesome to see him put there. And the fact that he's in Shadowlands and the Cathedral of Light really that tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. Knowing that he's up there enjoying the Cathedral of Light, the real Cathedral of Light, while we're down here in this muck. But awesome. I again salute you, Blizzard, for doing something right. Thanks for putting him in the game. It's awesome.
All right, Solomon, what are your delivery quests today? What are you delivering to us?
Let's see. So not really an MMO, but still a subgenre of it, I would argue. There's a new action RPG, a PvPvE, a term that it's been around for a while. Yeah, PvPvE. So elements of PvE blended with PvP. The first game that I heard use that term was actually Aeon Online about 10 years ago. Because of the way that you have two factions, the Ilios and the Asmodean, but there's also a third NPC faction that would, come in and, fight you guys along with territorial battles. And in Hood is kind of actually like that. It's supposed to be a game where it's very heavily influenced by Robin Hood, and one of the gameplay mechanics or whatever is the fact that you have to steal a chest that has like gold inside or something, like stealing it like Robin Hood would. So there's different ways of stealing the chest. You could do just brute force or stealth, but then you also have to contend with the defensive AI, the NPCs, and so that's why they hence use the phrase PvPvE. So yeah, I mean, again, in my videos, I said it looked felt very similar to another PvP game called For Honor. More or less. So there's that. The Elder Scrolls Online is coming to the next gen consoles, but I'm not exactly sure if they're actually going to upgrade the graphics too. But if you're getting a PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and you want to play Elder Scrolls Online on those, you have your you have that as an availability now. Let's see. I guess the three other things I wanted to mention, they just also wrapped up the New World density test last week. I don't know if we talked about that, if this is before or after, but there's that. A lot of people
I briefly mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, I gather that people really were impressed with it. Those who jumped in, I'm not sure why, because it looked a lot like the other stuff. It had some fixes. There was some more lore, I thought.
Oh, was there? Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention, again, not an MMO, but still a subgenre on it, is Grounded, which is a survival online game, but very geared towards, I guess, a younger audience, just because of the aesthetics. Excuse me. And the way it looks, and it's very, I mean, if you ever watched the movie, the very old movie called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it kind of feels like that. So again, that clocked up to 1 million players, which I think is pretty awesome, considering this is Obsidian that we're talking about, the same guys that did Fallout New Vegas, and they're doing what was the other one? Avowed, I think it was called. That is supposed to be in direct competition with the Elder Scrolls.
They also do Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah, the Outer Worlds, obviously. Yeah, that's another good one. And the last one I want to share, and this is a bit controversial, but I think we should talk about it anyways, just because it directly affects the type of games that we play, is the whole employees complaining about their fair pay in Blizzard and Activision. And again, this isn't really MMO news per se, but I mean, because Blizzard is known for World of Warcraft, I think we should talk about it anyways. And basically what they did was they made some sort of group. I don't know if it was a Facebook group or something, but they got around and they started comparing each other's pay, and a lot of people are complaining they're being underpaid, despite the fact that they've made record amounts of profits, despite a spreadsheet. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They made record profits despite the whole the thing I don't want to mention because YouTube is being YouTube. The sickness that originated from this particular place in Asia. I'll say it that way. And despite that, yeah, they made massive amounts of profits, and a lot of the employees feel like they're getting shafted, and a lot of the CEOs, the CFOs, all the top brass in Blizzard are apparently being overpaid. And even the shareholders complained about that, especially with the CEO. I forgot his name. The shareholders like, you're giving that CEO way too much cash, and that kind of probably says something. Like, even if the shareholders are agreeing with some of the overpayment of some of its employees, top brass employees, then probably says as much. So it's unfortunate. I would still, like, if I ever worked for Blizzard or Activision, I think that'd be really cool, but I speak as somebody who's never worked in the industry, so I obviously come at a slightly skewed perspective, but I still have that perspective of being somebody who's never earned millions of dollars like top brass does. So I kind of get the outcry that they have in so it's I and then if you want to talk about comparison, there's the whole thing with the banning of TikTok from the Trump administration, and then a lot of people were very scared because TikTok is partly owned by Tencent, and Tencent is a huge
no. TikTok is owned by somebody else. WeChat.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, WeChat, yeah. You're right.
By Tencent, and that's where you affect a lot of the other.
Right, the same executive order affects WeChat too. Sorry, yeah, you're right on the money about that. But I hear people like there's another YouTuber that's very awesome. You should go check him out, called Upper Echelon Gamers, and he did a really good video about why this may not matter now, but eventually will. Like it's just a matter of time. But I've talked to other people who also work in the gaming industry and saying like that may not be the case because of various international laws and having offices based on different countries. Like if your company is based in the United States or Sweden or anywhere else besides China, then that also affects it too. So I can't give you a definitive reason as to what's going to happen, but I'm just saying, I'm only bringing that up as a comparison. again, I don't want to really talk about it or get into it that much, but it's like capitalism versus communism at here, you know? And I think if you take the extremes of both ends, it just feels like like it sucks. I get it. Where's the middle ground? I don't know. And so that's just an interesting thought from all that.
Yeah. The pay, it's like one of the things where every company, every employee probably feels they're underpaid. The question is, how do you compare to the market wages of other places? And obviously, Blizzard is in California, so they're dealing with a higher cost of living directly. And so another game company somewhere else, I know that like a company will pay the wages that the employees will stand to take, which means you can leave. Nothing forces you to stay with the
That is true.
company. You can leave. Now, where can you go? That's a good point. If the other companies are also colluding with the wages, that's a problem. They'll keep itself down, right? So I don't know. I mean, every company has feels the same thing where are your executives paid too much? You're doing layoffs, and if you just cut the executive pay by half, you might be able to keep 10 employees. So it's I don't know. More will come out of that. Actually, for the Tencent, that was a big hit. Wondering if they're going to big Riot, which is League of Legends and
Right.
Valorant. There's also some other companies they own, and I had heard that one, it's not going to affect those companies, only WeChat, and two, a lot of like you said, a lot of those companies are they're based in the United States. They have, in a sense, a I won't say a firewall, but they're not necessarily directly attached to China. So if you're playing, you're giving information to Riot, for League of Legends and Valorant, but it's not going overseas. WeChat was different. Same with TikTok. Supposedly they were somewhere else, and that's the Microsoft was thinking about buying TikTok and then bringing it local, or keep the stuff here. So good point. It will affect. What was amazing about that, I was at about midnight. My son came downstairs. Did you hear about the president's executive order? I go, what? And I was like, because that's where it starts hitting home. I mean, yeah, we've heard about the tariffs across the world. We heard other different executive orders, right? But now you're like, wait, I might not be able to play the game I like because they're going to shut the wall off. And okay, interesting. All right.
I lived down in the Irvine area for a short period of time, and I can tell you why I no longer live there. I was working, I was going to the school down there, to college, and I literally had to make up my mind. I did. It was the same thing in Santa Barbara when I was there. I had to make up my mind: am I going to pay my rent, or am I going to buy food? And what it came down to, very honestly, was no, I'm going to get a lesser paying job somewhere where I can snag food. So I had to go to food services. I had to work. I went to an Olive Garden, guys. I went to work at an Olive Garden because at that time I hear that they don't let you do it anymore, and that's really sad. But back in the 90s, they would let you could make a meal and take it home with you at the end of your shift. And so that's how I ate. I would make a meal and throw a bunch of stuff on a plate and take it home with me and eat. And I got smart, moved a little bit further up north into the agricultural area of the state where it's way cheaper to live. And it was really sad because I did enjoy working down there, and there were opportunities I would have had if I would have stayed there working in the industry that I wanted to, which at the time was I wanted to get involved with doing animation, and that was like blooming back then in the 90s. And because I moved up here, I really lost my foot in the door, honestly. But there was no YouTube or anything back in the 90s, guys. So I couldn't, there was no way for me to show off my work that I was able to do, um, which is unfortunate. And Ken, you and I talked about it yesterday a little bit, that I almost think the thing for them to do is to move the company's headquarters somewhere more affordable for their employees. Now, are their employees going to be willing to move? I don't know. That might suck for some of them that have families, have roots in that area, and don't want to have to move to Canada or move to Iowa or Idaho or somewhere that's a lot more affordable. But at the end of the day, like Solomon made the statement, I'd still work for him. It's like I would too, honestly. Low pay. I mean, I wouldn't work for him for minimum wage, but I mean, I wouldn't mind working for him. But I definitely wouldn't want to work for them in Irvine, California. It's just the cost of living is way too much, and you hear stories about the one employee was saying there's 5 of them in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Dang.
Yeah,
And that
Irvine's a
too,
beautiful place, but
yeah, and 2 of his roommates do Uber. They
Mm.
deliver food with Uber Eats, and they Uber drive on their days off to kind of make ends meet. And
Yeah.
that reminds me of what I went through back in the 90s, and I know it's way worse today. So it's a sad situation, and I wish the company, and maybe they will now that there's such an outcry for it, look at the cost of living in that area and say, okay, you know what, maybe giving you guys a 50-cent raise every year isn't going to cut it.
Well,
Especially,
I mean, the whole thing of COVID has definitely opened up a lot of the companies that thought that maybe they couldn't do it at home, finding that they can do it at home, and the
Mhm.
employees are finding out, like, wait a minute, if I can do this at home, why am I paying all this open rent in the Bay Area or some of the rent down in the LA area when I could be doing it, say, somewhere cheaper, say Iowa?
Well, that's
You
the
know,
thing. Like places
right.
like Mark Zuckerberg said, like pretty much the same thing. Like if you want to move, you don't have to be at headquarters over here in the Bay Area or wherever they're located anymore. But he said that if you move to places like South Dakota where it's significantly cheaper, we're gonna give you the tech industry wages for that area. We're not gonna
right,
give you the wages in California if you do decide to move
right.
somewhere else.
Yeah, I left
The
Southern California back in
okay.
'88 because Irvine's beautiful. I love to be over in Irvine.
Oh
Couldn't afford
yeah.
back then, right? And so I would be like, okay, I'll go to Riverside or Oceanside, and my commute to Long Beach would have been horrendous. And like, nope, not doing that. So I get it.
It, you're right. The weather's beautiful. The scenery. Well, it's not as nice as it was in '88 and up till like '96. I would say it's kind of a little more dumpy than what we remember with our rose-colored glasses. But um, it's still a beautiful part of
Yeah.
California to live in. There's tons of stuff to do, but if you can't afford to go out and have fun with your friends, then what's the
Point.
point of being there?
All right, we got a little bit off topic because that wasn't really MMO,
Yep.
but the biggest thing about all that is that Blizzard, all these things do affect us. We as gamers want
Ooh,
these games, and if you talk about the fact that Shadowlands is supposed to come out this year, and these kind of things can impact it. These kind of
Right.
things can actually impact the delay of the game.
Right.
COVID's been delaying some things. People of the way the industry is perceived by the analysts or even the stock shareholders, affects it too. So there you go. All right, we're gonna go on to storyline quest, okay? And so I threw it out there. I don't know if this said that said before. I don't know. I just kind of a very broad thing. I said, what was the best storyline you've ever experienced? Okay. Now I'll set it up because of the fact that to me, it's only I play a lot of MMOs and a lot of but they don't stick with me. The whole thing. I played Rift and SWTOR and Dark Age of Camelot. I played, Defiance and WoW and I don't know, tons of other games, okay? But to me, I was always going to point back to the very thing about best time I ever had in a game was World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. To me, the best storyline was the storyline of Arthas. The fact that, what happened to him, he thought he was doing the right thing and he isn't, and he becomes this monster, so to speak. And in the end, you kill him or you bring him back, so to speak, and the dad is there and very touching, father, son, it's like, and then you're like, the guy says, someone has to be the Lich King, and says, and then says, this guy, I'll do it. Goes, no, I will do it. Because he's already like, and he goes up there and he's like, I don't wait for the last line, like, remember me. I'm not sure it is, right? But, and then he freezes. It's like, I don't know. To me, that was a great storyline quest. Like I said, I played a lot of games, a lot of mind you, I like Star Wars, the Old Republic. I like other games too, like Elder Scrolls Online. But so far, nothing else online has really been to me a big, oh my gosh, the best storyline ever. I mean, doing the Greymoor in Skyrim has been fun, and doing the whole thing about this whole thing like, oh, my father is now the turned into a vampire, and oh my goodness, I think it was okay.
Spoilers.
But, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers. So,
I'm all
anyways,
spoilers.
Nice going, Dad.
Solomon, what was the best storyline in an MMO you've ever experienced?
there are none.
There
Like,
are none.
There are none.
Really?
Like really, like I love playing MMOs, and I'll say like for I'll always say that I like playing for the story, but like nothing really sticks out. Like no, like I never really had that oh my goodness moment in an MMO like I had with like playing, for example, Metal Gear Solid or the Final Fantasy series, or like I never really had that emotional oh my goodness or I'm almost in tears moment in MMOs than I had with other single player games. I guess the closest would probably be Star Wars: The Old Republic, just because like I legitimately cared about a lot of the characters, like your companions, for the most part, not all of them. So yeah, there's that element too, but it still fails in comparison to, say, the companions that you got in other BioWare games, such as Mass Effect, especially, even Dragon Age. And so yeah, it's just like, again, I guess to answer your question, it would be Star Wars: The Old Republic, but again, it's like I'm thinking, and it's just I don't really recollect a time where it's just like, oh my goodness, that storyline from that particular MMO made me feel this way, and it will stay with me forever. Like I just don't have that kind of memory, unfortunately, with any of these games.
No, that's fair. I mean, it's when I think about all the games I've played, why is that one stick out? Probably because we beat the Lich King, we downed the boss. But all right, so Jaziel, what is yours best storyline you've ever experienced?
I really don't want to say it because I don't want to seem like I was just copying you, but Wrath of Lich King was
That's
just
fine.
really good. Yeah, really well written. The whole expansion, just playing through it, and then finally getting into Ice Crown Citadel and going in there with my guild and wiping day after day, week after week. It seemed like before we downed them, and then
Yep.
seeing that outro, like you said, with his father, and kind of a redemption. Not, I mean, he's already dead, so.
Right.
But and like you said, seeing Bolvar take the mantle and go and sit on the throne, and it really punched me in the gut at the time. I would say that the next storyline after that was probably Legion.
Okay.
The whole Legion storyline, it was a little uneven at times, and there were definitely parts that I could have done without. But as you guys know, I 100%. So I did all the side quests, and I wanted to collect all the mounts and the battle pets and stuff. So there were parts there. If I would have just done the main storyline, excellent. I really enjoyed that whole storyline. As far as anything else, I mean, I enjoyed Greymoor, but the thing with Greymoor is we're not done with it yet. We have
That's
several.
true.
Yeah, we still that. It's odd because it did feel. I'm with you. That felt like the end of the chapter, but it's
But
not.
it's not. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we still have a whole year of content that's going to be getting delivered to us every 3 months or so. My dog is being really annoying, so I'm going to set her down. She wants to be in my face. Sorry.
Well, you're right, considering that, taking care of that one boss, there's a boss of that boss. So,
Yeah. So I am pretty happy with most of the questing and adventures within all the different chapters that we have for Elder Scrolls Online. I tend to remember them. The thing is, I don't know, maybe because it's kind of sort of it would be my second love, I guess, right? Because EverQuest is really where it started, even though I played Meridian 59 before that. I barely remember anything in that game. EverQuest, I remember a few things, mostly because you had to grind for everything. So it's burned into your brain forever. It'll be the stuff I'll be spouting out when I have Alzheimer's in a few years. Uh, but World of Warcraft, man, there was stuff, like I said, in Wrath of the Lich King, especially like the Wrathgate cinematic, which was the first cinematic in the game, and it was just awesome, with the undead showing up and all that stuff that happened during that, and like I said, downing Arthas, and the fact that we had already seen his transformation. For those of us that played the RPG before that played Warcraft 1 through 3, we knew about him. We knew about Illidan as well. That's fair. I know a lot of people liked Black Temple and downing Illidan and all that, but that didn't seem to impact me as much as the Arthas storyline.
Yep. Well, that's cool. I've always said I'm not very good at remembering lore and that kind of stuff. My son's better at that. So to remember these things are that's why I want to try to remember these things, but I don't always. All right, that was a storyline quest. We are now going to some escort quest. We're going to lead you to safety because it's all about the virtual con. It's just a FYI, the fact that this week right now, August 7th, 8th, 9th is Quake Con for all things Bethesda, which for MMOs side of things is Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Even though you can argue Fallout 76 with a 26-person server really isn't quite an MMORPG. But anyways, coming up on August 27th and 30th is Gamescom, which is the Cologne, Germany thing that's going to be online. Some more virtual goodness there. Maybe anything that people have not announced, like say Blizzard, maybe they'll announce Shadowlands there. Then following that in mid-September is PAX Online. Well, was PAX West and PAX Australia and some other game convention in London turns into 24/9 days of goodness from September 12th, 12th to the 19th. So get your online stuff. Now, I'm going to make a quick little editorial side note here. QuakeCon hasn't quite been very spectacular. It's like my word I keep using is underwhelming. There have been some interesting panels, and you watch this stuff, and you're like, let's go to, which is, again, not knocking location or region, but let's go to Australia and New Zealand for Fallout 76. Cooking, cosplay, and other stuff. I'm like, wait, what? So there's Elder Scrolls. Hey, let's play some Elder Scrolls. We're not going to wear any gear, so we're going to go into this thing. Which is kind of interesting, but it's to me, it's like there has been any announcements, and most times you go to the con to play something. And while Elder Scrolls Online is free for 2 weeks, starting a couple of days ago, it is online free. So if you haven't got a chance to play Elder Scrolls Online, you can now without any financial commitment. So go do it. So you can argue that is something they decided to do. I didn't hear about any other games or any other places that try out these games. Like go try Play for a couple of days, or go play Dishonored. No, not Dishonored. Get Dishonored a couple of days, or let's go play The Evil Within type stuff. So that's my editorial side note about QuakeCon. Either of you two want to add anything?
It's been very on the edge of boring to me.
The edge of boring.
I've never been to a QuakeCon, which I know that's crazy, huh? But I imagine that like they've had better shows than this. I'm with you that I was expecting like some heads up for patches coming up ahead, maybe a new game being developed, just more meat to it, and it just seems kind of thrown together. And yeah, they were doing things like hey, let's just strip all of our gear off and run around in ESO, or let's have some people get together and talk about representation within gaming, and they had that panel yesterday and whatnot. But I mean, other than that, it's just kind of been blah to me. Now the guy that was showing off his helmets for Fallout, that Ken and I were talking about before the show about that we thought it was going to be a full-on cosplay thing where people were going to send in pictures or videos of their cosplays that they, something like that, or and it just turned out to be a guy extremely talented. I will give him that, and if I had the money, I would absolutely order one of those helmets because he custom paints them with his son, and it's excellent work. But it was just kind of like, I don't know. I probably didn't need to see that, It doesn't look like there's anything. Of course, it's only the rest of what's left of today and then tomorrow. And looking ahead on their schedule, it doesn't really look like there's much. And I was expecting some Elder Scrolls 6 news.
Yep.
And I haven't even heard them mention it. I don't, unless I went to the restroom or went to make a sandwich somewhere and they said something during that time. That was odd to me. And them giving that much attention to Prey, which I honestly, every time I mention Prey, I told these guys in our little private chat that we have, I've never met anybody else that has played that game, and it was weird that they kind of highlighted it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I've
maybe
heard
it's
of Prey,
just
but
my
you're about someone playing it.
Yeah, they go, oh yeah, I heard of it, but I skipped it. I never played it, so it was weird to like even see that on there because it is an older game at this point and not as popular, as far as I know, unless there's been a resurgence now, maybe
2017 is when it released.
But honestly, I'm looking for Gamescom in Germany. That's normally where Blizzard makes an announcement about upcoming expansions. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the rest of the schedule for Sunday is nothing. There's no closing ceremony. I mean, the end, they have the Quake World Championship Grand Finals, the Elder Scrolls Online live art creation and chat, Moon Crash, which is the latest DLC for Prey that came out in 2018. I see here, Moon Crash with Lauren, with two people, Evil Within, and then Evil Within 2. And it's like, okay, that's it. There's no closing ceremony. There's no. Yeah, that's it. All right. So with that, we're going to move on because guess what? There wasn't much. The boredom you hear in our voices is what's happening. All right.
Well, we did get a flaming pony pet. So
flaming pony pet and an Aura Bora box by watching this live stream. So you did get that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, we're going to go on to Class Quest. It's a question I'm not sure if I asked before, but you may have. But it might just be a rehash. But I'm not figured yet. But what's the favorite part for you of an MMO? I mean, obviously MMORPG, there's the M, there's the M, there's the O, and there's the RPG. PvP, PvE, questing, raids, community, crafting, all the above. For me, what always gets me about playing MMO is community. I enjoy, at this point in my life, it seems like I enjoy playing more with people than with solo, even though I do play solo games. And the community portion of it, whether it's PvP or PvE or crafting, just hanging out, people getting together with a raid, with a group, a guild, and raiding something, that is very important. Like you said, you've already heard my Lich King. That was an awesome memory. I want to do it again. I don't care what game it is. I don't care if it's Shadowlands, which is one of the reasons why I think I like Shadowlands, because they're expanding upon the Lich King thing. And so, fine. If it's New World, fine. I don't care what it is. But to me, it's community and enjoying that with people. So Jazio, what is for you the favorite part of an MMORPG?
Sharing the main storyline with my friends, not just playing through a single player campaign and then sharing that with my friends, but actually joining together with them in the game, playing through that, making memories together. That's my favorite part of an MMO. That's why I gravitate so heavily towards MMORPGs instead of single player games. I do play single player games, but there's just no real heartfelt memories that are kept from, being in my bedroom on my laptop playing City Skylines or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's going to be like that with Shadowlands and hopefully New World. They'll put enough story in there for us, which they're working on it. There's signs from this stress test. There was more stuff they've added. Some people said it wasn't enough, but they're working on it, man. Give them a break. That's why they set it back a year.
Yep.
That's why they set it back, because they were like, you want more? Okay, but it's going to take time. You guys got to understand it. And we said we understood, and we're cool with it.
Right.
But I look forward to that in Shadowlands, playing alongside you guys and everybody else that's going to be joining us. Hopefully there's a nice big group of us so that we can go together as a guild and work through the story together and just make some memories. That's my favorite part, man.
Sounds good. Solomon, what about you? What's your favorite part of an MMORPG?
It's more or less the same thing that you guys have been saying. I think there's a time and it just depends on my mood, I guess. Like, again, I definitely enjoy my single player RPGs as well, single player games in general. Just but the MMOs definitely, the reason why I name my segments MMO and RPG, because I feel like MMOs actually have a different, it's a different animal, it's a different entity compared to all the other RPG subgenres, in my opinion.
True. Yeah.
So that's why, instead of just calling it coffee and RPG, or RPG roundup, or RPG news and commentary and stuff like that, it's MMO and RPG, because it's just a different animal. When you say an RPG, that's one thing, but when you say an MMO, it's complete, like, everybody has a completely different expectation or perception or whatever you want to call it. Especially when it was getting a lot of traction during the early 2000s. Like, everybody's like what is this? Like, they didn't know what World of Warcraft was until they actually played it. And so
right.
So with that being said, again, like, I like being in a world where you are essentially not alone, because, again, you can play a single player RPG and it's really fun. And again, my fondest memories of any storyline, like I said earlier, were from single player games, single player RPGs, or action games, whatever you want to call them. But there's just something about being able to log in and do something, but not having to be alone, and knowing that there's other people out there in the world. It's that kind of mimics real life. To kind of put it a little bit weirdly, if you will, because, like, when you step out of your home, you're in a world with other people. Same thing could be applied with playing MMOs, but it's a virtual world with certain limitations, obviously, but you still kind of get that sense of, again, something that you said earlier, Kennethan, which is like being part of a community. Like, you're there for a common, I wouldn't say purpose, but for a common, I don't know, I guess a more right word would be theme, or a common IP, I guess, to put
experience.
Experience. Yeah, that's actually a better word. So I do apologize for not being able to speak English very well today, but
I mean, we have all experienced multiplayer games, and you can play with your friends, 2, 4, even Fallout 76 is 26, even, but
right.
Massive, getting thousands of people together in one spot and enjoying content together, raiding together, exploring together, dying together,
right,
getting frustrated together. Yeah, is a fun thing. And I didn't know. I mean, I've never heard of MUDs or anything else beforehand. Never heard about EQ when it first came out, or even the other ones before. Or the Camelot just kind of fell into our lap because we bought it at Costco and it's online. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that started the whole ball rolling. And that's the part that I like getting on. It's like you log on and you say, "Hey, how's it going?" And everyone's like just so happy to see you. And it's like, "Get that!" It's like, "Well, here, guys." It's like, "Oh, good to see you." It's like, whoa. It's like, I mean, mind you, friendships come in different places, and online friendships are also there too.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
online.
Right.
I mean, mind you, if the RPG sucks, because I guess, like, Star Wars Old Republic, when it first came out, we were all going to go there for my WoW guild, and it didn't hold, and people left in droves. And it's like, so if you don't have a game that holds itself with regards to the lore, to the questing, to the crafting, and the raids, because they didn't have the end game, wasn't really there yet, all the kind of things will doom a game. But we go there for the community. Like, I played Horde, even though I mostly play Alliance. Because a community. Yeah. All right.
If something Solomon said, just it touched me, and
It's what I
I
do.
have to. Yeah,
Reese's?
Just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Give me the doll. I'll show you where. No, Judge, it was right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really cheesy. Don't put that at the beginning, please. Don't clip that. Anyway,
Now you told him.
It's
you
definitely going to begin.
oh,
You never tell someone don't do it.
oh God, that's the end of me. Anyway, when he mentioned that even it soloing, because you guys know, and Colby was it in your channel last night? Yeah, Colby made a statement of why aren't you soloing in an MMO right now, Surge Azil, and I'm like, I do solo a lot, but it is still comforting. These people zooming by me back and forth and doing their own thing. It is like Solomon said, it's like being in a real world, and you kind of lose yourself in there, and you recognize that these aren't NPCs; these are real people,
Right.
that are pressing the W or the forward button or holding left and right mouse buttons down in World of Warcraft, which I miss being able to run like that on ESO. You can't do that. There's something socially comforting knowing that those are real people behind those avatars playing the game with you, even though you're not even grouped together. You don't even know who they are. You don't know where they're from or how old they are or anything, but it's just comforting. It's kind of like when you've been in the house too long and you finally say, you know what, I'm gonna just go like you said, mention Costco, or I'm gonna go to Best Buy and just window shop and end up spending a couple $1,000s. Oops. But I always do that when I go there. Anyway, and Costco too. Oh, that place is horrible with that credit card. Don't get it. So, sometimes you just want to be around people, even though you're not going to be talking to them or doing anything with them. It's just comforting to be in the outside world with people. And for some odd reason, as nerdy as it's going to sound, it is like a comforting feeling being in World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online, any of the Star Wars Old Republic, any of these games we've been talking about, that just seeing that there are other people playing with you, that's more than 26, 30 people, like that other game. Although that's nice too. But, having thousands of people on that realm and seeing them running around just like Solomon fishing, or Kenneth in like trying to kill hogs and spiders out in the forest or whatever, it's just kind of neat and comforting to be out there amongst other avatars that have living people behind them just like yours.
Absolutely. You're right.
And if I could just add on
Yeah,
what
sure.
Serge Alziel was adding on from what I was saying.
It's a song that doesn't
right. I don't know who said it, but it just made me think of it a few minutes ago. But the multiplayer aspect of an MMO is completely different from a multiplayer aspect from other games like Call of Duty. Like, I played Call of Duty for like the longest time, and I never made any meaningful relationships from that game because it's all about PvP essentially, right? But I could honestly say that playing MMOs, I had from it, I made a lot of meaningful relationships. They don't happen like every single day, but it's just like you don't get that kind of intimacy, if you will, that you do with MMOs that you play that's solely just PvP, like Fortnite or Call of Duty. Although I could be wrong, because again, I haven't played those type of games for years, not on a hardcore level. But I would still argue that that's why MMOs in a multiplayer sense is completely different from all other online games.
It is harder to make those relationships because you got to remember the tags and send them a friend request. When I was playing Dark Age of Camelot, you had to group up. You couldn't solo. And so
Right.
I remember writing down people's names, this
Mhm.
cleric, good healer, so-and-so's name. And so when I was in the game, next day looking to a group, I would I would send a tell, a message to that person, a whisper, whatever you want to call it, okay, saying, hey, I'm forming a group, you want to join me? And they would say yes or no. Because they're on this, you can see them over and over again. You're on their friends list, or you are.
Right.
If you tag the same things, Call of Duty, Valorant, Fortnite, you'll see them again, and you say, hey, let's group up for a party or a group. So that might be a way to do it too. But you're right; those are a lot more hit and miss, and most people just go in, play the game, and get out. They're just looking for that, which is why I hate the LFR, LFQ, LFG, whatever you want to call them these days, because in a lot of these games where you just jump in, all get together, and you do something, and you're out. You don't make those friendships, so you kind of lose that with the current state of MMOs. Maybe we should talk about that another episode.
Yeah, let's write that down, because I just, while you were saying that, all these memories of friendships that I made back in Meridian 59. I mean, especially when EverQuest came out, and I remember, you were exactly right. I had a little paper tablet with a pin by my computer at all times, and I'd be like, hey, this healer was awesome, or this healer was horrible, this enchanter knew what they were doing, invite them to the next whatever raid. And there are people that I made friendships with back in 1998, before some of the people who are watching this broadcast right now were born, that I'm still friends with today.
Yep.
And there are way more that I made back then, when it was that atmosphere of you had to have friends or you were going to go nowhere in that game.
Right.
You were not going to level. You weren't going to get gear. There was nothing you could really do solo.
Right.
So, yeah, we can talk about that more.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's a good one for next time. Yeah, friendships, MMOs, and whatnot. Okay, right. That was our class quest. Now some world events, because there are some world bosses we have to destroy. And so, New World, August 25th, we are going to have a launch type of party, show, stream, whatever. Tentatively, obviously, that day where we don't know the actual time the game opens up, but we're going to plan for a time. Might be 6 p.m., on a Tuesday for us on the Pacific Coast, which makes it 9 p.m. Eastern, but we're going to do that. And then following that, our triumphant return to World of Warcraft. People were like, what, really? How's that triumphant? I was like, well, I'm calling it triumphant, okay? So our triumphant return to World of Warcraft.
Got to sell it.
ESO is still fine. I'm going to be playing it until I let out, but knowing others have been playing Shadowlands, getting ready, it's not a bad time, to think about September being the start of getting ready. We don't know when it's going to happen. Might be October, so it gives us 1 month. So it's not a bad time. It's not the pre-patch. We don't know what the pre-patch is going to be yet, but it's a great time to jump back in and start playing. There are some really good people playing this game right now, and so why not get with them, gear ourselves up, start getting the whole. That's why some guilds are putting together back then about how to raid together. They want to be world's first. Well, we're not looking to be world first, but hey, it'd be fun to hang out, people. So
I imagine, just cutting in, that we're going to hear something and know more to tell you guys about when we're going to do it after Gamescom, because normally that Germany show is when Blizzard tells it when it's going on PTR, and then you can kind of count. They're pretty analytical with that, how many weeks it is until they do beta, and we can give you numbers then.
No BlizzCon, so that will be do that. It's either that or it's going to be at PAX Online. So yeah, either way, it's coming up. But still, we'll let you know more details later on. So we'll do that. Okay, so we're about to go AFK. Time for our bio breaks. Time to log off. Whatever you want to call it. Okay, so our days are done. Our latest quest lines are complete, and the dungeons are looted. So it's time to go AFK. Where can we find you, Sir Jaziel?
Just on Twitch and Twitter, mainly, in Discord. I have been taking a break from streaming the last 2 days because I've been thinking that there was going to be more to this Quake Con. I really wanted to watch it.
Yeah, me too.
I will be on tomorrow, but normally I stream Monday, Saturday, Sunday. No, I just messed that up really bad. I need to take my old man medication apparently. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
All right.
from 2 to 6 ish.
The
So
long weekend.
yeah, I'm sorry guys, my brain just shut off there for some reason.
All right, got that Friday
Yeah,
through
you're doing it
Monday,
now.
the long weekend. You can find Sir Jazio. Okay, so Solomon, how about can we find you at?
On YouTube, Coffee and RPGs, obviously, where you'll find this video that I'll edit and upload. Find me on Twitch, but again, the only time I ever stream is when we do the show. I mean, I'd love to start streaming more again, but there's only so many hours in a day. But yeah, just Coffee and RPGs. Just find me on Twitter at Solomon SK. I'm thinking about changing my handle again. It's Solomon SKTTV, but I'm like, I don't even stream that much, so why even have that TTV anymore? So find me there on Twitter. But yeah, that's my primary channels.
All right, sounds good. I am Kennethan. You can find me here on the Twitch channel Kennethan or Kennethan Live on Twitter. I need to get my social media back up to date with regards to Facebook. I have a Facebook account, but I haven't really been doing it. I have YouTube. I haven't been posting a lot of videos. I should do that. But anyways, Twitter, you can find me at. That's where I'm at. I stream generally every day except for Wednesdays. Different type of shows and whatnot. Even like tomorrow night, which is Sunday, I'll be doing Let's Pray. It's the unofficially official pre-show to Pastors After Dark. So it's a half an hour of prayer. After that, I might play, but we'll see. Probably not watch the show. So anyways, there we go. We're going to go fishing now because after all, when you go AFK, you got to go fishing, especially when you're playing BDO. So there you go. We'll be back here next week for another episode of the Trinity MMO Show. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here with us. And we will see you again next time. God bless you guys. All right, thanks, Kickstand.
You gotta do scene. Do scene.
The silence was the scene.
No, you gotta do it now.
Right.
Okay. I don't know.